serious, what new jobs industries can we create to work from home and keep the economy stimulated during these difficult times? I think there's opportunities for people to tutor people's kids remotely since the schools are shut. Kids can learn remotely but are missing that person who can help when they get stuck, I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. There's an opportunity for someone that can make a company that finds knowledgeable people, vets them and makes them available for students when needed. Now not all parents will be able to afford this, but I think many would consider this worth it. Especially if they themselves are working from home and it stops the kids distracting them for help. How about home health telemonitoring as a first response for the frail and the elderly? A video checkup on a regular schedule. Miss the checkup. The police make a wellness check. If the caretaker, probably a CNA, hears something in the video checkup, the patient would be encouraged to seek further attention. A few simple tools could be present in the home to allow the patient or a caretaker to do simple measurements like blood pressure, blood sugar and heart rate. Diabetics who stop monitoring and or don't log in their blood sugar on cue would also get a wellness check. In this way, people are less likely to slip through the cracks in an emergency. Urban technologies that would make growing and cultivating food easier even in small spaces in city. The Martian style. This has a lot of promise. Hydroponic gardening in old industrial buildings has been pioneered for a couple of decades now. The equipment doesn't have to be hugely expensive. We could definitely expand this industry a lot. Fresh local vegetables in every neighborhood. No need to fly them in from Mexico or Chile or California. And we have a lot of expertise, considering the size of the weed growing subreddits. Semicolon. Emergency planning consulting. As this is greatly lacking. Alright. This one is yours. Go ahead and make this happen and I'll try and send clients your way. Going to need a lot more therapists, counselors and mental health workers. Unfortunately, mental health is seen as a luxury, not a necessity. When jobs are cut and people have to pay out of pocket, there will likely be a reduction in sessions. Edit. In the US. My pharmacy just hired 10 out of work limo drivers to deliver prescriptions. I may be interested in doing this for our local pharmacy. The pickup medicine line inside and out in the drive-thru is always so long. Where zoning allows, raise chickens, not roosters, and sell fresh eggs to your neighbors, friends, and others that respond to ads. A neighbor started raising hens about 2 years ago and is doing a lively business distributing fresh eggs locally. They can be left on people's doorsteps in a designated egg container. Similar to the milkman's box, no face-to-face exchange required. Close bracket. I was thinking of one. Perhaps something that shows you which grocery stores currently have a higher load of traffic customers. This way we can avoid each other. Spread out our shopping to other stores. Not sure if Google has an API to allow for use of total cell phone traffic in an area. Question mark. Google does actually do this where I live, UK. North. You can search for a business and it will show you a graph of how busy it usually gets at various times of the day. Then compares it to how busy it actually is at that point. It's really useful. I hate busy places and have managed to avoid unexpected rushes a few times in the past. Could maybe come up with some way to have virtual parties or a virtual bar. Figure out how make it seem like you're all together having a good time. Maybe some kind of Roku app that could split the screen up. Maybe VR goggles will make that possible. Ready Player One movie seems more realistic now. Gov should allow digital notary authentication services. Attorney here and absolutely no reason legal services can't be digital. There are privacy, disclosure, and privilege risks whether live or digital. Let's stop wasting trees and sprawling office space for egos. I have a feeling if the NIT bill goes through, this would no longer be the case. Making live copies more secure. Refurbishing old stuff. I know my stainless steel copper iron cookware needs a hard resurfacing and coating. But I own none of the stuff necessary to make it an easy job. Maybe also wetland restoration and killing invasive species. I know tons of kids that would love to spend it outside shooting snakes or catching Asian carp. One of the good things to come out of all this mess right now is that artists and musicians will have a lot more time to create. If you've ever had an idea for a shirt or card, now is the time to make that happen. Screen printers need the work right now. Support your local artist. Most have online shops, and heck, even Bandcamp is giving 100% of sales today 3/20 straight to the musicians. Basically, you're going to have to start in your community. Help each other out. Wouldn't hurt if they forgave taxes this year either. Humans who browse, check, and report any fake accounts or misinformation that they see on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and any other social media information platform. We might as well be productive and get paid while mindlessly browsing them. I report misinformation all the time and it's never taken care of. Most office jobs these days, we sit at our desks in our cubicles just so our supervisor or manager can watch over our shoulder. These jobs could easily be done at home, and employees should be judged on their output and/or quality of work rather than the number of hours physically sitting in a specific place. Government jobs included. It would save taxpayer money on needing the physical space. Not to mention less car traffic, less pollution. Issue is, it would also reveal certain employees' lack of quality output. Close bracket. I think instead we should be looking at some form of guaranteed basic income. We cannot just let people languish in poverty for 3-4 months, maybe more. Anybody who is out of work due to this virus should receive a certain amount of money. E-learning is a huge market that is not tapped into very much yet. Online learning from a private corporation instead of a college or private school program would allow much more flexibility for students and would also cut down the costs of school programs. So lowers non-profit margin costs, so increases economic flexibility, so provides a free market option. Unfortunately, the reality of this doesn't pan out so well. I was a classroom teacher for 3 years. Saw plenty FL virtual school dropouts back at their desks. I work at a school as a teacher aide. So I'm getting paid to, in a way, to not do anything. I just check my email, read updates, and then read manga and watch YouTube the rest of the day. I decided now would be a good time to start my dream job of being a voice actress. I'm starting as a narrator for books that are now in public domain. Last night, I finished the first chapter of The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. Now, where can I upload it so I can be recognized and start getting paid? Some local actors at mine create to be continued series, which they actually continue, from day-to-day activities all on their own to keep us entertained. It actually makes one feel as if they are outside for real. The actors do all that in their own apartment. It's quite nice seeing how they make an effort to still work their job and help others feel better. It's not exactly a new job or a new industry, but becoming a caregiver to a sick, elderly or disabled family member or individual isn't exceptionally hard to do. For example, you would have to take care of a person's home, cook meals for them, give them medicine, or if they're capable, gently remind them to take their medicine, provide companionship, etc. I'm not sure if the programs are still accepting people, but I know that a bunch of places in the past advertised where you can sign up to be a caregiver to someone for his company. Or, you can ask if it's doable through the individual's or family member's insurance. VR controlled robots. Running a factory with 100+ employees would be a lot safer if 90% of them were at home. You know how much cheaper it is to pay workman's comp than to fix a robot? Robots are more valuable than humans. Unfortunately. We should prepare to the really bad recession we will face afterwards. We should study really hard. We will have to deal with the troubles, both social and material, that this pandemic problem will left for us. I also think home chefs are going to become a lot more popular. If you can't go out to eat, or know how to make something, call up one of these guys and they'll buy cook clean for you. Home cooking classes could also be a thing. Have a hankering for actual Chinese food or traditional Czech dumplings? An actual mainlander could come to your home, Bonus if it and sweet old lady type and make it happen. The Ethiopian family next door to me makes the best food and I'm sad that nobody else gets to experience it. Basically all office work should be work from home. With all the technology and software at our disposal, there's almost no excuse to have a bunch of people sitting in a giant office space doing work that could easily be done from home. Hell, think of the positive effects that would have on the environment. How many people spend hours per week commuting back and forth to some office job? Think of how much traffic would be eliminated. Not to mention the carbon footprint of our typical office building. Work from home should become the norm. Food trucks are big in my area, but they usually congregate on high traffic areas that are currently desolate. What if, instead, they throw a speaker on the roof, come up with a catchy jingle, and drive through neighborhoods like an adult ice cream truck, but with booze and food? Taco truck coming through the neighborhood blasting mariachi music? Yes. Please. They should take lunch and dinner orders electronically. Prep it all and the second half of their day is spent delivering it. A whole new community of sleuths. Simple. You apply and get a background check and then receive a cold case. You now help in investigating cold cases from your home. Even just data entry for the existing sleuths. One of the things holding a lot of investigations back is how not everything gets entered into existing databases, because detectives are busy. Or in the case of older cold cases, just never got put in before the evidence was stuffed in a basement, and that these databases aren't as linked as they could be. I don't know about industries, but I won't be surprised if I hear something about how schools are integrating VR. Students can learn remotely in a classroom setting and can see and have tangible feedback in real time from a teacher. Which then in turn could also open up the possibility of completely VR classes and teachers could work from anywhere. Online marriage family counseling. People aren't used to spending this much time with their kids and spouses. I think the longer we stay home, the more online jobs will pop up. Creative ones like online art as well as more serious ones like programming. Also, I'm thinking Twitch and whatever Microsoft's version is should allow for a new type of work. Stuff like a personal trainer and 10-15 clients all streaming together with a trainer in the center and the clients around the edges. They ration subscribers so that we can spread the wealth to support more of us. What other new uses could we have for Twitch? I'm a Fortnite coach and it actually pays much better than any job I've had. It helped my pay my tuition last semester in full. Hear me out. Miniature novels. This would be things like sketches and short stories for people to read for like $0.50 each read. Have a minimum length and have people be able to gain notoriety. This would likely have to be done on an online basis. So that's a bit of website design and coding that can be done as well. Webcam service, yoga, exercise, etc. Homemade cooking stuff to take out delivery. Private lessons through webcams. We could have more authors, as we really need something to do during this time and reading is a great thing to do. I think it's going to be interesting to see how many businesses realize that many employees and in some cases entire offices can work remotely. It may really cause some companies to transition to a full-time work from home model to save costs on office space. Gaming as a prescription for therapy. Coding up a software that allows a therapist to prescribe a game to play and then being able to see and track your playthrough as well as study the psychological patterns of decision making based on specific diagnoses. There should be a way for an elderly person to reach out to talk to someone when they get lonely. I would adopt a grandma or grandpa just to talk to them if it existed. Software sales. Lots of startups have a software that needs clients to get better. If you're talented at sales and can understand basic computer functions, get into software sales. Something I realized is that all the waste being produced during this time, how much of it will be recyclable? Will all the plastics and so forth that sit on the sidewalks for weeks just get incinerated? Maybe someone with some information can give an answer. I vote we have this discussion after we send money to people. I currently make money from YouTube video games. We cannot live in a society where only the charismatic eat. Learn to code. Yes and no. Programmers have customers for whom they create software. If part of the economy is gone, part of the customer base is gone. I mean, if people in IT in Poland start losing jobs right now, it's serious. We need to be working on making so much automated shit that we don't have to stimulate the economy anymore. Robots work for free, ain't no point charging much for food when the growth, delivery, and sales are all handled by machines. You have to pay for the machine's upkeep. Double quote. Robot doctors. That's the solution to that. Robots that fix robots. Not a joke. Close bracket. If you own a piece of land, you could start an orchard. Sure, it's gonna cost you your lawn. And I have no idea if you're actually allowed. But 100 years ago, the families around where I live, Sweden, all had like 30 or 40 apples trees in their gardens on plots of about 800,000 square m. Frankly, it would be great if there was a normal way to get remote job anywhere. Right now we either have jobs that still require you to be from the same country, city, i.e. it's essentially perk for a normal work arrangement. Or there are freelancer sites for one-off jobs that mostly seem to put people looking for a job at a disadvantage. High competition, shitty pay, no guarantees to get paid. That's fun way to get beer money, not work. I am an online teacher with a company called VipKid. It's teaching English online to children in China. You don't need any special qualifications except a bachelor's degree in any major. And the pay is $16 to $22 an hour. Seriously. If anyone needs some info, I'd be super happy to help. It's been my main source of income for almost 2 years and it's been a lifesaver. I already, after less than a week of social isolation, see a huge need for much smoother communication platforms. Something that makes you feel like you're in a room together and can casually converse rather than the awkward video conferencing calls. What's the address? Is it in the mail? Oh, it's in WhatsApp. But my phone is almost dead. How do I get the link to my computer? Hey, can you hear me? Who is here? Is my sound on? How do I allow my browser to use my camera? etc. I think a service that provides a person that will read to children and those with vision problems would be great. I know there are books on tape and things like Audible. But during a story, kids like to interrupt with questions. And having a person familiar enough with the book to answer those questions might be helpful. And knowing another person is live with you can comfort someone. Especially someone with vision issues that might be feeling alone. We need more mobile tech helpers who can diagnose and fix hardware issues, Wi-Fi problems, etc. It would also be helpful to develop local networks for Wi-Fi scanning and printing, because it can be expensive for every individual to have all the necessary equipment to work out of one's home. I'm currently planting a garden. Ordered about $50 worth of supplies and going to grow about 15 different vegetables plus a herb garden. I think there is no way you could keep the economy stimulated enough with new jobs that you can do from the comfort of your own home. Also, because there is barely any time to learn spread this new job, it's probably only for a few months. Max 1 year. We desperately need scientific educators. That is, people who have done rigorous science themselves and then decided to focus on educating instead. Some sort of online compassion care, like the CamGeneral sites, but more personalized one-on-one connections and no porn nudity. More like allowing people who feel alone to connect with each other and talk or read stories together or just hang out in the presence of another person. Online marketing, cracking down on false online advertising, and generally cleaning up the internet as much as possible. Game development, podcasts, writing, and any other kind of media entertainment that doesn't require a production crew. We could seriously create a billion-dollar self-sustainable creative industry outside the guise of large corporate media and game publishing entities. We could start training people on simulators to become licensed industrial commercial delivery drone pilots. Ostensibly it is something that could be done from home with the right kind of rig. You could take jobs around the country without having to go another state. Just log in and fly a drone from a fleet somewhere. This could be applied to other remote vehicles as well. I've been 3D printing and selling on Etsy. Although I've noticed a massive decrease in sales lately, I'm sure if I were to print and sell everyday items I would be getting some sales again. Considering closing my shop for the time being and helping print medical supplies.